freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey folks, dude here. Coming to again, an iteration of Dude After Dark. This time I actually do have my voice in place. Wow. I wish well, I don't know if I would say I wish, but there's times where I really, truly almost wish I had like a video camera shooting the goings on in the back seat of the old Uber wagon as people are doing what they do in any way, shape, and form, and of course, all the resulting craziness therein. But anyway, what it was I picked up a group of people, kind of not one of the best parts of town. I mean, there's worse places, but it's kind of in like an area. Let's just say it like that. It's in a area, not great, not bad, but eh. Being from New York City, it looks like a normal part of town to me, but it is what it is. So anyway, I picked up this group and they were carrying on and they're already fussing and scrapping with one another, talking smack to one another. You're gonna blah blah blah, or if you keep doing this, I'm gonna XYZ and PDQ and all the rest of the happy horse stuff. So anyway, they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so we're pulling out and they're getting into it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And then it comes to the point where I'm at a red light and I was like, look, you guys got to chill out, or I'm going to stop the ride. This is not safe for anybody, and I'm just not going to deal with it. So anyway, going, and it progressively goes downhill from there. And I turn onto one of the streets, and at that point, I'm done. I'm just done. This is an unsafe situation. Everybody's scrapping and carrying on behind me, and I want nothing to do with it any further because if it goes bad, who knows where it's going to happen and go to next. Martina Sasquatch, looks like you are back. Oh, you're fully up. He says he's back in the workforce. Mother puppies or puppy mothers. Yeah, back in the workforce, puppy mothers. Anyway, so good stuff like that there. These guys are carrying on, carousing, getting more and more insulting and pervasively not good, to the point where somebody in the third row is literally restraining somebody in the second row, like Reed, like literally right back behind me. And I'm going, you know what? This is not safe. Somebody's going to do something stupid and it's going to go really, really wrong. And I just don't want to deal with this. So it got to the point where it got to that regard. And it's really, really loud inside my car. They are so unbelievably loud that I could barely yell above them. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm really going to have to put on the big pants here. And I'm really, really going to have to get loud. So I really, really, really got loud to the point where I actually probably did some major vocal strain. And I sounded like basically I was gargling razor blades for like the next week and a half. I mean, it was bad juju. To the point where, I was just like, okay, try not to yell anymore. And so that's what I was contented with right there. Was my voice was pretty much just jacked. I mean, absolutely jacked. No other way around it. It was positively foobar. And for me to even try to shoot, move, and communicate for an hour straight, not going to happen. It would have been like me trying to go, hey, dude, here. I'd be sounding like, I'm kind of like pummeling on the inside of the casket going, let me out. No, it would not have worked. And I was not going to subject you guys to that. And furthermore, trying to even operate in that means would have just shortfalled everybody. So I was really just not going to do it. I didn't want to do a video that was short. I didn't want to really do the classic rock and roller thing where you just push through and then you blow your vocal cords out and do nodules. And, I'm not going to do any of that kind of crap because, potentially, later in life, you don't want somebody basically scoping your guts out going, oh, yeah, you got all these things hanging all over. Let me just clean all this crap. You don't want to do that to yourself. So literally, you got to operate in the mindset of not thrashing your voice to absolute, complete, and total surrender. So that's where I was on that one. And I just didn't want to do that. Martina Sasquatch says, never go full DI without proper training, dude. And Uber needs to change the rules so you can carry a gun and 2 New York reloads. Well, technically, in the state of Maryland, if I did have a carry permit, Uber can't stop me from carrying. And literally, if it was a situation where I found myself to be completely unsafe, I could get my carry permit and I could carry. But right now, I'm waiting for another piece of legislation to die a very well deserved death. And that's one of the news stories I'm going to be hopefully pulling out somewhere in the ethers. But let me go onward and move out smartly and do the good stuff like that there. So let's just jump right into it. And I have scads, and I mean positively scads of news stories. So I'm not going to touch on them too great, huge depth or anything. But I'm going to basically, get into them a bit and, give them the attention that they do justifiably deserve. So anyway, getting into it from first off is obviously not my usual news sources, but talking about of all things newsyahoo.com, which is really not one of my absolute favorite. Orange, you got to stop jumping on me. He's been really, really bad about that one. But anyway, we're talking about the Russian military. Yeah, just they sound guy. It was one sound guy. It was one Q. We talked about this earlier, okay? The Russian military, one Q, one sound guy. Sound guy. Okay, Russian we're done now, okay? Done? He gets into it, folks, and he'll just run through the whole thing. Oh, wait. Anyway, so we get into combat situations, and there is, hey, Patriot Fever, appreciate you coming by, dude. So looking at the way we do things versus the way the Russian military does things, typically we spend munitions, we spend hardware, we try not to spend manpower. Now, there is a mindset that comes into the commissioned officers' way of thinking, and they have the mindset of spending lives to advance the cause. And they say it's either a good expenditure or it's a bad expenditure. But truthfully, we want to make the other guy die for his cause versus us dying for our cause, okay? And that's literally, one of Patton's most famous quotes. Your job is to make the poor son of a bitch die for his cause rather than yours. So anyway, looking at things as it is, Russia is now into it for not quite 2 years or maybe a year and change in Ukraine, but we spend money. Russia spends military-aged men, 315,000 now in current count. So in Ukraine alone, there are over 250,000 men either doing dirt nap or jacked up completely or wounded and now taken out of the fight and having to be returned to the fight, to the point where Russia is now actively conscripting guys. And it's come out to be that, they're now using code to speak to one another, going, I'm not going into this combat zone. I'm not going to get wiped out by the Ukrainians for two very good reasons. One, I think this combat zone is a joke. Two, I'm getting forced into it. Well, actually, there's probably a 2A. I'm getting forced into it. 2A, there's a lot of crossover border type stuff where potentially you might be fighting family members. It's like, oh yeah, that's cousin Vlad from so-and-so. We were supposed to invade this area, but this is his town. We might actually be duking it out mano a mano, and really don't want to do that. Patriot Fever. I'm not taking that one out of the room, but let's just say he says, rather than doing a Mozambique, you probably should just do a little bit more on the target end. Oh man. So he's thinking, Mozambique, which is basically 2 center mass shots and a headshot versus sound guy.
How about that? Those 30 came out in a second and a half. You ever see anything like it? You're not going to take it, are you?
Just say it's a loan.
Lon, it's not licensed.
Jack, neither am I.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite rips from McHugh. And he basically goes down in the basement of the gun store. The guy's like, here, try this out, and hands him a Mac 10. And he's like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And proceeds to empty the magazine in a trash can. So, yeah, it was sound guy. No, sound guy. Okay, I thought we said we were getting rid of that one because that one sucks. No. You don't get a ding. Right. You don't get a ding off that one. That is the sucky machine gun sound effect. Okay. That one is not cool. It is, okay. We're reserving that for, the name is. Yeah. And we're not talking about his.
Come on, squeal.
Don't want to come.
Oh, no. We're not talking about her, okay? Just.
I'm coming.
No, we're not talking about her, okay? And that's, Yep. Joke. Dude, what are you doing? Okay, anything. I agree. Sound guy, anything worth doing is overdoing. Don't encourage him, okay? He'll be just going okay, sound guy, we don't do it like that around here, okay? We do things a little bit differently. Right. Yeah, we do it the quiet way. Okay, sound guy, he wouldn't be going up if you do that, okay? Right, that one. Sometimes he gets his stuff just backwards, okay? Okay, I'll allow it. Silence weapon and then body fall or, slide whistle down. Okay, that one's fine. No. That was allowable, okay? You do get a that was gratuitous. One ding, okay? One. Stop. Just stop. I know you're trying to break it up and make it more interesting with the sound effects, but we got it, okay? Anyway, 315,000 guys down in Ukraine, and of all things, their tanks are getting absolutely deluged with all kinds of munitions, and they're getting just absolutely hammered. So land wars with tanks may be obsolete now. So Russia has lost 87% of the troops it had prior to the start of the Ukrainian war, according to a U.S. intelligence assessment. Russia has lost a staggering 87% of total number of active duty ground troops had prior to launching the invasion of Ukraine, and 2/3 of its pre-invasion tanks. A source familiar with the classified U.S. intelligence assessment provided to Congress told CNN. Wow. I don't know if you guys caught up in this one or not, but the chick that played Snow White, who is absolutely not white, she's been talking smack, and she's pretty much said, well, I'm really not that much in this, that, and the other thing, and I really want to do a full 180. They are just not listening to her anymore. They are ready just to smack her upside the head for all of her stupidity. Actors should just be actors, and in any way, shape, and form, that's really all needs to be said. They're pretty much pretenders who be something on a piece of paper. Wow. Yeah, Martina Sasquatch, exactly. Trench warfare sucks. See both battles of the Somme. Yeah, I mean, World War I literally marched brigades of guys into machine gun fire, and you had the best of the best of the best guys just walking literally into active gunfire zones and just getting shredded. It was like the absolute worst thing they could have possibly have done. And they literally killed battalions of guys just marching into combat actively. Beyond ridiculous the way they fought that war. And of course, they came out with tanks, active planes, gas warfare. It was like all the worst, nastiest possible stuff you could come out with. They did in World War I. So much so they're like, you know what, we're not doing that again. So that's when you had like, the Prague convention going, no, the Prague convention going, no, we're not going to fight like that again because it's just too nasty. Speaking of too nasty, okay, too much money, ads everywhere. You can't escape the bloody damn things. But, Google just lost. And I do mean they lost bad. They got just, yeah, they got it. Sound guy, they got it, okay? Okay, Google loses an antitrust suit to Epic Games.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
No. Nice try, sound guy. No. Anyway, so Google, let me scrolling down here. Google loses the antitrust suit to Epic Games. So Fortnite maker Epic Games has prevailed in a high-profile antitrust trial over Alphabet's Google, which alleged the Play App Store operated an illegal monopoly in a ruling that holds could upend the entire App Store economy. Translation: they don't get to dictate everything that has happening with a game on a download from their network. JMB designed the M2 to kill tanks. It also has a 10-gallon water jacket. No, dude, that's like really old school. They haven't run a water-cooled machine gun in like forever. Just give me a second here. And also, 50 caliber Browning it's not enough to do a tank, dude. No, it just isn't. Oh, they're going back and forth about. Oh, never mind. That's behind the scenes stuff. They can go back and forth. Anyway, so unless the Play App Store operated an illegal monopoly and a ruling that holds could upend the entire App Store community, App Store economy. Sorry. So jurors found for Epic on all counts. The court filing showed after more than a month of trial in Epic's lawsuit, which accused Google of taking action to squash competitions and charge unduly high fees of up to 30% to app developers. In court in January, we'll begin to work on what remedies to implement. Oh, wow. I think it could be said that Google just got a little bit of yeah, and it's definitely no, sound guy. It's not death. It's I put the wee in, that was definitely yeah. Google, you're taking it up the tailpipe most assuredly. You're getting death by yeah. You're getting yeah. You're definitely getting you're definitely getting death by snoo snoo. No, not I'm sorry. Death by deliverance, not by snoo snoo. The ruling marks a stunning defeat for Google, which alongside Apple operates one of the world's largest app stores. If the ruling holds, it has the potential to give developers more sway over how their apps are distributed and how they profit off of them. Well, that is how it should be. If you are the owner of the intellectual property and you're merely using Google or the Apple Play Store, I'm sorry, the Google Play Store or the Apple, what is it, iTunes, whatever it is. But if you're using those two guys to be the conduit for your stuff and your stuff is extremely popular and you want to give people the opportunity to simply just download it on their phones rather than having to go on the internet, beep, 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 no, you know, the other thing too is also it's come out to be that pretty much downloading stuff from the iTunes store and from the Google apps, you know, the Play Store, pretty much is pretty safe because the technology is involved is they know if somebody's trying to put out something spoof or something's glitched or something's bad, they're not going to allow it to be on their platform to be downloadable. Okay. If you're talking World War I tanks, yes, Martina Sasquatch, you are correct. A 50 caliber BMG would transfix the old style, you know, World War I tanks very, very nicely, mostly because they're just pretty much sheet metal. They really only intended to stop small arms up to like rifle caliber. They were not intended to stop a half, inch projectile moving out at roughly the same velocity as the 30-06. it was not ready to stop a 750 grain bullet moving out at 2,700 feet per second. No, it was not ready to do that. That is just a little bit more than what's being asked for, and that sheet metal armor was not able to stop the 50 caliber BMG. You are correct in that regard. So scrolling. Google said it would appeal. We will continue to defend the Android business model and remain deeply committed to our users, partners, and broader Android ecosystem. Translation: just give us the money because we know we work really, really hard for it, taking it from you, left, right, and center, and cashing in and taking all the money. Yeah. And just scarfing it all. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney on Monday cheered the ruling on social media site X, formerly Twitter, calling out the Google Play monopoly. Lawyers for the two companies made their final arguments on Monday morning, and the federal judge handed the case to the jury less than 4 hours earlier, with instruction that the decision must be unanimous. Among Epic's allegations were that Google illegally ties together its Play Store and its billing service, meaning developers are required to have both of their apps included in the store. While the Play Store represents a much smaller chunk of Google's revenue compared to the massively profitable search business, it is symbolically important to the central gatekeeper to billions of mobile phones and tablets. I got 2 games. Literally, I have 2 games downloaded on here, okay? Literally 2 games. One of them, most of the time, I'll play offline. The other one I play online, obviously, because it does more stuff that way. But it's, what it is mostly? The one game that I play the most of all what that game is, it's a poo-poo game. It literally is. It's a poo-poo game. I'm already in there. I'm committed. I'm in the can doing whatever, and it's a poo-poo game, okay? So that's pretty much what that one game is being used for, and I probably should wash my phone more often because it's being put in some particularly nasty environments. But anyway, so yeah, it's most of the apps I have downloaded are either business-related or secondarily business-related. There is some technology I have put on board simply because it's just good to have. Most of it is because I built the monster. This thing literally has almost 1 T of storage. I can put as many things in here as I want. I'm not gonna fill it up, right? It's not gonna full. This guy, on the other hand, the older of the 2 phones, which I'm currently I'm double phoning, and literally what I'm doing is I'm using 2 phones at once. One of them running off my Wi-Fi hub, my antique Wi-Fi hub, and then the other one actually running off the 4G network. So I know it's going to be some period in time where it's going to be outmoded, because this could be a 5G phone. The Note 9 could be a 5G phone. Unfortunately, they didn't install the antenna to make it access the 5G. So when it comes time, I'm going to have to upgrade. But I really like the fact I have a headphone jack and another plug. So it's a 2-plug phone with expandable memory. It's going to be kind of hard to give this one up. I really like the fact this thing is so modular in some regards that I can do stuff with it that's different. The new phones, better cameras, more processor, better phone, remains to be seen. Truly remains to be seen. Dude on the can't decide which sense is more violated. Okay, well, yeah. All right. So anyway, sound guy. Really? That's where you're going with that one. No, you don't get a ding for that. Yeah, maybe he might be the next guy hitting it to the bathroom after I've been there. maybe that's what the dun-dun was. He walked in the door, it was like, dun-dun. Ah! Oh, man. So anyway, scroll down. Google may be compelled to allow more app stores on Android-powered devices and lose revenue with the cut it takes from the in-app purchases. Quote, today's verdict proves that the Google App Store's practices are illegal. They abuse the monopoly to extract exorbitant fees, stifle competition, and reduce innovation, Epic said in a statement on its website. Quote, the trial has shown a very bright light of what Google has done to impair the competition. A lawyer for Epic, Gary Bornstein, told jurors earlier today, adding Google, quote, systematically blocks, end quote, alternative app stores on the Google Play Store. That's just it right there. There is no competition. It is a monopoly, possibly a trust violation. Scroll. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly, coming in on, she who shall remain, unnamed, because I got this one sound, guys. She who shall remain unnamed.
I'm coming.
Yeah, Kamala. Okay, it's not Kamala per se.
I'm coming.
I'm sure you were. Anyway, so this is not about her. Stop, sound guy. It's not about her, okay?
Come on, squeal.
Don't want to come. Do not come. I'm coming.
Well, pick one. You either are or you. Never mind. It's not about her. It's about her husband. So Kamala's husband got humiliated big time. So she didn't do it, but he did it. And it's an awful holiday gaffe. The level, depth, and breadth you probably would not want to admit to doing if you're a member of the tribes. But if you're a member of the tribes, you know the way stuff works, especially on, the Festival of Lights, the 8 crazy nights of Hanukkah. You probably should know how things work. Well, he screwed it up. This one coming in from AmericanJournalDaily.com. So Kamala's husband, her husband's now facing controversy over a Hanukkah post he made recently, despite deleting afterwards. Remember what I told you guys time and time and time and time yet again. There is no delete button on the internet. If you put stuff out there, you can be assured somebody's going to go, oh, I'm going to save that. Saved as a screen capture. You will not ever get that thing back because you put it out there. They found it. You're a dumbass. They got it now to perpetuity. And they're going to put it out there when it's most embarrassing, kind of like what they did for this guy. Yeah, this guy. This friggin' guy right here. Hey, this guy. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this guy. Hey, this guy. So anyway, this guy, also known as Doug Emhoff, this is coming in from Daily Wire, deleted a post on social media Monday night after facing mockery over getting a story about Hanukkah wrong. So his quote was, in the Hanukkah story, the Jewish people are forced into hiding. No, they won't. No one thought they would survive or that the few drops of oil they had would last, but they survived and the oil kept burning. During those 8 days in hiding, they recited their prayers and continued their traditions. No, that's not how it works. The true story behind the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah remembers a time when a group of Jewish warriors freed the Second Temple from the hands of the Greek Emperor Antiochus IV. The miracle of the event was such that a small amount of oil in the menorah lasted for 8 days. Not that they were hiding, but that they had kicked major ass on the level, depth, and breadth like the Maccabees did. They kicked some Greek tuchus. So online users blasted Emhoff for not knowing the story of his own people's holiday. One commenter pointed out that Emhoff claimed the Jews were hiding when in reality they were fighting for their land, something progressives strongly oppose today. Others mocked the vice president's husband. Another person asked why nobody in the East Wing was knowledgeable enough about the holiday to correct Emhoff. Critics were particularly brutal to Emhoff, a Jewish man, for not knowing the true story. Jewish children are told the story of Hanukkah at an early age. It is not unusual for a grown man to not know it. It is unusual. To put it in context, for non-Jews, this would be like the Christians saying Christmas was when Mary and Joseph gave birth to the angel Gabriel. Perhaps he's deliberately distorting the story to make a connection to the Holocaust, where many Jews were in hiding, or perhaps he wanted to evoke a woke message through the sacred Jewish tradition. Regardless of why he did it, it's clear it did not go over well. Skibby, I need some Tiggy juice. What a goof ball. Dude, if you don't know, ask. If you really truly don't know, Google's your friend. I mean, come on. How hard is it to go, gee, what's the story about Hanukkah? Tick, 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 click. Boop. Come on. It would have taken you 5 seconds to look it up and get it correct. Wow. I got 2 really kick-ass stories about Argentina and, the new president down there, but I really want to keep them, like moving along here. But so Argentina's PacerJournal.com. Argentina's new president makes a shock move on day one. Their deep state can't believe their eyes. From Breitbart, Argentine President Javier Milei, or Melu, I always mess up his name. I think it's Milei, used his first executive action in top office on Sunday to dramatically rearrange the federal executive branch, reducing the number of cabinet-level ministries from 18 to 9. In one of the most popular public appearances, he explained his plan by scratching ministries out of the large flow chart of the federal government one by one, describing many as useless to harmful. That man is a libertarian leader. I got another great news story about him. I really, really like this guy. Excuse me 1 second here. Martina Sasquatch. Yeah, I think what happened is it popped up and I didn't see it. Usually what it is like a little bracket that pops up down the bottom and goes, ad starting in da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I didn't catch it when it did that. Sorry about that. Manelli. Okay, well, I'll get the proper pronunciation. See, the problem is also one of those, probably it's like local accent things. South Americans, they speak a different accent in Spanish than I probably have heard up here. So Manelli, okay, works for me. If nothing else, the guy's completely kick ass in my personal opinion. I rather like the guy. So this one I think is absolutely hilarious, and this one is beyond epic if it does happen. So Democrats love taxes. They really, truly should love this. This one coming in from Newsmax.com, and Senator Tom Cotton, Representative Republican from Arkansas, introduced the Woke Endowment Security Tax Act on Wednesday, also known as the WEST Act, a bill that would hit 10 American universities with a 6% excise tax on endowments and would be used towards the funding of American allies ensconced in war and border security. The one-time tax hit, aimed at the endowments of Cornell, Harvard, and MIT, amongst others, would generate $15.47 billion that would be used to aid Ukraine, Israel, and an effort to shore up the southern border. Quote, many American so-called top universities are failing to condemn anti-Semitism and violence among Jewish students on their campuses. We should levy this tax on the school's endowments. A tax on billions of dollars these schools have amassed would have more than enough to pay for our aid to Israel and security for the southern border, as Cotton said in the release of his bill. This I like. According to Cotton's bill, the tax applies to 1, secular institutions with endowments of at least $12.2 billion, and 2, secular institutions with endowments of at least $9 billion that also operate in a state contract college. The tax would also hit Yale, Stanford, Princeton, Northwestern, Columbia, Western University, and Cornell. The bill would come after congressional testimony last week by the presidents of Harvard, University of Pennsylvania, and MIT, with each unwilling to say outright the people are calling for the genocide of Jewish people, constitute a penalty against code of conduct in the schools, and run afoul of bullying policies. Well, that University of Pennsylvania chick, she got ash canned, mostly because it cost the university $100 million. $100 million. They got completely roughshod. So anyway, they basically got boned on that one. $100 million gone because a Jewish contributor said, you know what? You don't need my money. So he didn't give it to them, and she got a boot to the butt out the door. Martina Sasquatch, that is an excellent point. He said, why should any of it be used for any border but ours? But the thing about it is, Israel is the only democracy on that side of the Med. It is also a very good intelligence organization that we utilize with the don't talk about it curtain of, us and multiple other nations doing the snoopery. And there's a lot of crossover stuff that those guys really, truly do hand in hand. Going over now also to look further in. I don't know if you guys heard about this one, but supposedly Iran, I'm going to read on this one real fast. Coming in from RepublicanDaily.com, there's an oil refinery that's bursting into flames, burning, and the timing can't be anything better than what it is for them being snarky little guys sticking puppet organizations in to fight their wars and make trouble for everybody. Them having an oil fire, just that's all I got to say about that one. This one I find completely disgusting, but a Seattle student reportedly has failed a quiz after asserting men can't get pregnant. It's really disgusting, this this woke crap happening. Let's see. Scroll. This one coming on the January 6th stuff. Supposedly, the Supreme Court announced on Wednesday to review charges brought against former President Donald Trump. Hundreds of J6 protesters relating to the obstruction of official proceeding, a key offense the prosecutors successfully wielded to convict hundreds of the individuals. But the High Court's review will examine the appellate court's ruling against three protesters accused of obstructing the certification of Electoral College votes by Congress, the AP reports. Four similar charges brought against President Trump by Biden Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith, who is accused the Republican leader of inciting riots through social media posts, encouraging supporters to protest the certification of President Joe Biden as the winner of the 2020 election. Okay, last time I heard, it is not illegal to protest an election result. Just give me 1 second here. I believe that falls underneath your First Amendment rights to protest and say that something seems sketch and you don't believe it. I don't know if you guys heard about this one now, but this one coming in Patriot Alerts, and I don't want to wish harm on this guy, but I got to say the karma timing is absolutely beyond measure. But supposedly this guy said something to the effect of, Israel will suffer the wrath of Allah. And he was pounding, the lectern, this, that, and the other thing, some Turkish lawmaker guy. And next thing you know, he just went, proceeded to seize a piston, pop a gasket, and flopped over. Yeah, Tech Man, I'll get back to you, and I'll hit you back. I did get your text. So I will definitely hit you back on that one, dude. I did get it. So I'll hit you back on that when I get done with the podcast. Gets too distracting trying to shoot, move, communicate. Multiple media sources gets really, really distracting. Anyway. So looking at stuff now, this guy basically popped the gasket, crapped out. I don't know whether he survived or not, but last time I saw, he had been resuscitated and he was transported to be further treated. But supposedly he's younger than me. That's not good. Anyway, scroll. This one coming also from patriotalerts.com. A federal judge temporarily stopped the federal election interference case against Trump. Pause in the legal proceedings arrives as Trump advances appeal, citing presidential immunity. A result in all impending deadlines and court dates are suspended, casting great uncertainty in the trial's previously scheduled commencement date of March 4, 2024. Now, that's the other thing, too, is also anytime that there's an election, they need to be done before an election takes place. So what happens afterwards, they're going to be going, yeah, about that. Yeah. Patriot Fever. 100 mil. Oh, man. Yeah, there's more naughtiness going on. So let me keep on going here. This one I find to be completely hilarious. And I got to be snarky about this one, okay? Just give me 1 second here. When they foisted Obamacare upon us, Pelosi was stated as saying something to the effect of, well, you have to vote for the legislation to find out what's in the legislation. And I've now started referring to her as Drunkelosi. But you know what, Nancy, we have to do the impeachment to find out why we're doing the impeachment. So Pelosi claims the Republicans have no basis to impeach Biden. This one coming in RepublicanDaily.com. Former House Speaker Nancy Drunkelosi, Democrat California, has complained to MSNBC host that House Republicans have no basis to proceed with the former impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden. Drunkelosi, do you seem to remember the fact where when you were in charge, you ran everything with an iron fist and you told Republicans basically to pound sand and other least popular forms therein of self-buggery? Yeah, I'm sure you probably told them in no small amount of times they are moot. So Drunkelosi referred to then President Donald Trump as, quote, the president because he refused to carry out the will of Congress and send the aid to Ukraine he was required to send, but threatened to withhold unless President Zelensky did certain favors for him. Quote, but he said to me, what's the problem with the call? It was a perfect call. Yes, it was perfectly impeachable, she went on. They have no basis. You can't force a president to send money overseas. I really want to curse here. Anyway, this one is absolutely hilarious. There was a place, and it's an Oakland cafe, and supposedly there was some people there who told somebody they couldn't do something there because, oh yeah, they were Jewish. Yeah, so they basically harassed this chick, wouldn't let her use the restroom because she was Jewish. Well, here's what happened on that one. 3 people were fired at the end of last week, and 3 or 4 more quit in support of their co-workers. So the woke coffee shop employees fired for on-tape harassment of a Jewish customer. Yeah, and what's the name of the place? Well, let's just say it's closed now, and they're basically doing like a reboot to try to save their butts because they know right now everybody is like, you guys suck. Let's see. The Oakland Cafe confrontation over anti-Zionist graffiti leads to staff firings and a boycott call. So anyway, what's the name of the place? It is Farley's. So the owners apologize, say customers should feel safe in the cafe. And a statement from Amy and Chris Hilliard, the owners of Farley's, dated on December 9. Farley's opened 35 years ago and envisioned so much more than just a coffee house, said to create a third space where coffee and food would provide sustenance, and where community building and policy and placemaking would create a safe space where anyone and everyone feels welcome. Okay, you had graffiti in your bathroom that was anti-Semitic. You could have taken a paintbrush and you could have fixed it, and you would have had none of this going on. In the room, they're saying, did I catch what Colorado did to Trump tonight? No, I didn't see anything about that. What did they do there, Patriot Fever? Let me get back into another news story. A Democrat mayor is now under fire for accidentally sending out emails inviting to a racist holiday party. So Democrats really are the party of racists. The mayor is one of America's most progressive cities, is bringing in the Christmas season with a racially segregated party. So a staffer of Boston Mayor Michelle Wu invited the members of the city council to a holiday party that was, quote, electeds of colors. Electeds of color on Tuesday, according to the Boston Herald. So basically, if you're only somebody that doesn't have standard light melanin, don't bother. I don't know if you guys caught up with this one or not. I'm going to switch gears here. But, there's a lot of people that are very overweight in the United States. But this chick is what she refers to herself as a fat influencer. So basically, she's this fat chick that goes out and complains to everybody that, because she's fat, which is her choice, mind you, and she is not just moderately overweight. Okay? This chick is like beer keg with a person's face on top. Okay. And she's obviously somebody who's put herself in that situation. I'm not going to get into the here or there, but so anyway, this fat ass gets to room the fat ass into the free fat ass seat for free. Other customers have criticized Southwest Airlines for a ridiculous policy that gives overweight passengers free seats to accommodate their size. The airline has instituted a, quote, customer of size policy, which allows overweight passengers whose body takes up more than one seat on the plane to get, quote, the needed number of seats, end quote, for free. The policy states any customer... Oh, God. The policy states that customers who, quote, encroach upon any part of the neighboring seats, end quote, may purchase them however many extra seats they need, which will then be refunded at check-in. The changes provoke mixed feedback among customers. While some body-positive customers have praised the policy for allowing those with obesity to travel more easily, critics say it's pandering to very overweight people and gives them an unfair advantage. Well, I think what it is, this chick basically screamed and complained and bitched so much that essentially... that the they got some kind of special gravitas, and Southwest knuckling under like this. I have no way to believe why they would do something like this and possibly piss off people even more than some of the other policies have come up with it recently. They really, truly need to stop this crap. Mostly because the biggest problem with Southwest is basing their seats on the way that everybody else bases their seats. And I can show you this is actually a very easy representative thing they're in, but this is your standard seat width on an aircraft from here to here. That is your standard seat width on your standard aircraft seat. Oh, yeah. That's 17 inches. That is the industry standard for an airplane seat. If you need more than 17 inches to put your ass in there, you should buy a second seat. That's all there is to it. Colorado Supreme Court kicked Trump off the primary and election ballot. That shouldn't be allowed. There should be, I think the Supreme Court probably should get into that one, like the federal Supreme Court. I think they might get into that one because that is arbitrary and capricious, and I don't think that's going to work. Patriot Fever. I identify as a 900-pound patriot on every plane ticket. I want first class. Patriot, they did it. I think it's going to be very interesting, if Trump does get reelected and actually doesn't need to carry Colorado, which I don't think he would actually carry anyway. I think if the actually let's just do a simple quick here. Let's just do a really quick thing here. Let's see. See what it's doing here. How many electors does Colorado have? Colorado has 10 votes. So it would be 10 electoral votes that Colorado currently has, which I don't think Trump's going to get anyway. But what they could do, and this would really, really piss them off. So for everybody that really wants to vote for Trump and Colorado won't allow it, let's just do a little bit more research here. Let me check something out here. Colorado presidential election. I think this might get very interesting. If you do like an Operation Chaos, I think it might just get very interesting. Okay. If he did have himself as a write-in candidate in Colorado, must file an affidavit of intent stating he or she desires to be at. Okay, so if he filed the affidavit, that's whether they accept it or not, who cares? But if he files the affidavit and people write in Donald John Trump, oh my stars and garters! You want to talk about something that's going to make them flip their lids? That would be it. Patriot Fever says, go all Rush Limbaugh on Colorado and Operation Chaos to put Brandon put Brandon on the ticket. Yeah, Martina Sasquatch, exactly what I would do. I would write him in. Man, you want to talk about a resounding just middle finger to those guys, that would definitely be the way to do it. Write in Trump in Colorado. Oh my stars and garters. That would be utterly epic. Scroll. I don't know if you guys caught up on this one or not, but you got to see the video. So the Golden State Warriors forward, Draymond Green, faces an indefinite suspension. He literally went up to the guy and did a block, and the way he did was he spun around and clocked the guy. I mean, okay, I can show you like the ins and outs on this one. In martial arts, there's a number of strikes that you can do. Obviously, there's a forearm strike, there's an elbow strike. Well, there's one that they show you. Most people really don't know about, but if you punch somebody, you basically kind of do like, the roll your fingers thing. So you got a good tight fist. Well, there's still also chances of you breaking phalanges and knuckles. And don't ask me how I know this, but there's a strike that you can do that literally is one of the most positively nasty strikes with the minimal amount of bone damage. And you literally strike the guy with the inside of your arm thusly. This area right here, you basically connect like literally on the end of ulna and radius. You connect on the end of your ulna, like literally on that part of your wrist. Your hand does not contact. As a matter of fact, usually you sweep your hand back, so you put the maximum amount of impact right there. And yeah, it doesn't feel good when you do it, but it is positively one of the hardest parts of your body. And I forget what the namesake is called in Japanese, but it is literally a strike that you basically hit the guy right there. And he literally did do a strike on the guy and real tall people, 7 foot almost, whatever it is, basically came around and went boop and just literally clocked the guy on the inside of his wrist, just like that. And that guy went down like a stack of bricks. And he was like, "Oh no, I was just blocking. I didn't see that." And they called a foul immediately, and he got ejected, and he got judged on it. And they were like, "You know what? No, you got a history. We're not dealing with this crap anymore. You are out of here." So his career is now FUBAR. Obviously, you guys have heard about this one, but the Aiden Meest Cesarovsky, the guy that got caught, and yeah, he actually works for one of the guys in my state. But yeah, he was the guy who was getting pushed. let's just leave it like that. He was the guy getting pushed in the Capitol by the other guy for the gay tango that they were doing, and the video got busted. Well, anyway, the guy was on staff for Democrat Senator Ben Cardin, and Cardin, he's one of these guys in Maryland that's been around forever, and truly, I got very low opinion of most of my elected officials in this state, because this state is very, very blue, and it's just what we're dealing with. So yeah, that guy, he got knocked out. And the thing that's really disgusting is you look at him, he's like crouched over in like one of the Capitol Hill Congress rooms, and on his butt is like a little capital. I think they might have been hiding his butt there, but supposedly he was doing the deed with this other guy, filmed the video, posted the video, and he got busted for it. And well, he got busted for butting it up. So this is one thing I thought was really verifiably something that needed to have happened. But when they booted out Speaker Johnson, the guy really rubbed me the wrong way. There was something always really kind of swarmy about him. Well, how much of a behind the scenes butthole was this guy? Well, it's now been seen that he was walking around with no less than other associated Republican rhino butthole, Paul Ryan. Yeah, there's a reason why you got popped and you got chucked out of there. And Matt Gaetz was not playing games with you, because, well, you got seen walking around with Paul Ryan, another piece of crap. Ugh. So, of course, Paul Ryan praising Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney for standing up to Trump. I mean, just what a piece of crap. If anybody need to get booted out of there, Johnson, you're it. Scroll. Supposedly McCarthy doesn't like Matt Gaetz calling him psychotic as he leaves Congress. It's like, you know what? Just go away. Megan Rapinoe, whatever her name is, said playing for the U.S. team was the worst job in the United States, or worst job in the world. She needs to find a nice communist country to play in. So, yeah, Kevin McCarthy, you piece of crap. Go back to California. You don't belong here, man. You're a rhino piece of crap. This guy, I think, is so much the illustrative side of things concerning anybody that got I got this one, sound guy. Anybody that got a hold and had and made sure that they were very, very caught up on the just the shots. Yeah, so this guy got the yeah, it's go. We don't have to worry about. Nope. So this guy got. Yeah, so he was way safer now because he got all of the fact check. No, he didn't get fact checked. He got the right. That's what he didn't get fact checked. I didn't get fact checked. So coming in from truthpress.com, this guy made sure that he was caught up on all of his clot shots. And he was a journalist who advocated for a vax passport and called for the unvaxxed to be fired. Well, he's doing the big dirt nap at age 33. So Canadian journalist who pushed the vax mandates and concentration camps is dead at age 33. Let's see. Ian Vandalay, whatever, Vandalay, age 33. He was caught up on all his shots. So, that's the thing. He's so much safer now because he's caught up on all his shots. And, well, we see the end result. He is no longer needing to worry about the nope, he's all caught up on it because he had all of his yeah, he's taken care of. Okay, I don't know about the gong, but the chime, the chime was okay. So he's taken care of. Hey, okay, that that works. I don't know if you guys caught up on that, but a lot of the underground tunnels, the IDF is dealing with, they're just flooding. They're just filling them up with water. It's like, you know what? We're just going to deny you services, guys, by just filling them up with water. And they are shocked with how many tunnels they are finding, the size, scope, and the ability of them. And there's a reason why those guys who were up above in the Palestinian area of influence suffering mightily. It's because they were diverting all the funds and they were building tunnels with them. Yeah, bad juju. You can ask anybody who's Israeli. They don't wish harm on the Palestinians. They just don't want to get bombed and missiled all the time. It's like, you know what? If you want to have a two-state solution, we want to have a two-state solution. We've offered it to you a million times. Every time you said no, we don't want to go to war with you. We just basically want to be left the hell alone. And, the Palestinians are like, yeah, well, you shouldn't exist. And the Israelis are like, well, that's nice, but don't try to make it happen. So you see the end result currently, what we're enduring. Sorry, scroll. There's a video on Rumble, and I cannot tell you how many times you need to see this one. And dealing with the area in which I reside, I mean, I'm the minority most times, and it really doesn't affect me to be, the one white guy in the area. I think it's actually funny sometimes. But the thing about it is Steven Crowder goes to a quote unquote black barbershop, and they talk about everything. It is a phenomenal video, seeing these guys interacting, and the black dudes are like, wow, I never thought about that in the white community. I never even considered that. And Crowder's like, oh yeah, man, it's something we got to deal with all the time that you guys have like your own support structure for that we don't do. So it was really kind of cool them flipping it on its head to say, hey, this is my culture versus your culture. Let's compare notes. If nothing else, you got to catch that video. Steven Crowder in the black barbershop. Spot on. Great video. I was very engrossed and I thought it was a lot of fun. Scroll. We're shooting down more terrorist drones than we can shake a stick at. And I'm sure it's really pissing off the guys in, Syria. And I'm sure the Iranians really aren't too happy about it because they have to keep shipping more drones over. But keep sending them up. We'll shoot them down for you guys. Scroll. Some other joke stuff. I don't know if you guys caught up on this or not, but, private vice president vibrator fan. Vice President Kamala Harris has reportedly become the face of pro-Palestinian resistance within the White House and is pushing President Joe Biden and his administration to be tougher on Israel and more supportive of Hamas-led Palestinians. That's from AmericanJournalDaily.com. So that's where that's coming from. I don't know if you guys want to see this one or not, but this one, I cannot begin to, tell you how much this cracked me up. Hang on a second. Let me do something here real fast. And I could throw you guys a link of the room, but this is beyond hilarious. There's no other way to say it except for what it is. It is absolutely beyond hilarious. So there was a gathering of class vehicles. Let's just leave it like that. The YouTube channel is called China Observer. And this is the YouTube link for the video. Got it. It was trying to put up another ad, and I actually had a chance to click off on it. Actually stopped at that time. Yeah. Sorry about that first time, guys. I missed it. But anyway, so the video coming up is from China Observer, and it's the Chinese Type 96 B as in Baker tank going against Russian tanks and a bunch of other world vehicles. But there was like a International Army Games in 2020 in Russia. And I know it's past due now, but I cannot do it justice. But man, that thing is facing off against Russian tanks and literally experiencing vehicle failures and level death breath. And I cannot do this justice, folks. If this is the kind of stuff that the Chinese is fielding right now, bring it on, because it's going to be wrecked out in the middle of the battlefield and people are just going to be laughing at them going, you brought junk. And that's one of the things, too, is the Chinese are really, really not good about not lying to you about stuff. So it could be a situation where it's like the classic Russian problem of, oh, yes, comrade, these things are great. We can send them out and it'll do perfect. And it goes out there and it just blows up with a glorious boom. I think that's exactly what's happening in China is they don't want to say this stuff is crap. They simply say, oh, no, it's the best we could possibly make. Take it out, comrade. You're going to love the stuff in combat. And it's just going to go out there and just... So the Chinese war technology, they might have a lot of them, but it might not be very good. So anyway, that's the link in the room there. And it, like I said, it's basically the China guys trying to do what they do and it fails miserably. Scroll. This one I think is absolutely amazing, but there was a farmer who hosted like weddings and what have you. And he refused to host gay weddings. Obviously, it's either a very, very strident Christian or it's just his personal beliefs or whatnot. But he's now had a point where they tried to sue him on it. They tried to screw with him. And a Catholic farmer with a farmer's market who would not host same-sex weddings on his property, they lost their asses to this guy big time. And it's in East Lansing, Michigan. So in the settlement released on Friday, U.S. District Judge Paul Mahoney ruled that Stephen Tennis, Tennes, who owns the Country Mill Farms in Charlotte, Michigan, just outside of East Lansing, could collect $42,000 in damages and $783,800 in legal fees after winning his 6-year court battle, according to the settlement. The order also states that East Lansing, which singled Tennis out for enforcement through vendor guidelines that equated not hosting same-sex weddings with discrimination, must not apply those guidelines to him in the future. Given the city cost of more than $292,000 through October for its defense of the case, the full bill for East Lansing will top $1.1 million, according to the Lansing State Journal. Now, I think anybody that was a legal guy playing games like this and screwing around, so they made this court case happen, they should get charged unceremoniously with some kind of chicanery or some kind of, you did a job that was not cool, we're not going to single you out, make sure you don't do this ever again. This one is kind of one of those sketchy ones. I'm not a Catholic, Mrs. Dude is, but I do not like the current Pope. As a matter of fact, I usually just refer to him as Commie Pope. He is going through roughshod, switching things up, unceremoniously making the church more progressive than it ever really should be. And he's doing these things, trying to drum up attendance, obviously, because, well, they have a really bad past history with, shall we not just talk about, the adult versus child aspect of things. They've had a very bad history in that regard, covering up and, basically giving aid and shelter to obvious in-house guys doing really unscrupulous stuff with younger people. Not good. But anyway, so this Commie Pope is wondering now why its attendance is lagging. Simple, they don't teach the word of the ages. Pope Francis now has approved a blessing for same-sex couples. Okay, if you go into Catholic Church, supposedly the Catholic Church is supposedly supposed to be like right up there with like Greek Orthodox and the don't do it, so the don't do it's like the really you don't do it's. You're not given special aid and accreditation because of these things. You're said to say you shouldn't be doing that. If you are doing that, you can't do that here. Scroll. I don't know if you guys caught up on this one or not, but supposedly some guy blew through a don't cross their area and ran into President Joe Kaka's motorcade near his campaign headquarters in Wilmington, Delaware on Sunday evening. Okay, now I can tell you from personal experience, folks, the people in Delaware can't drive to save their butts. Trust me on this one. that is like one of the worst states to operate in because oh my stars and garters, those guys are just downright, outright, and completely dangerous to drive amongst. They're not good. So the car smashed through the don't go there and ran into a parked SUV, and it was part of the motorcade. And Joe Kaka was on his way to the campaign office to a waiting armored SUV. The president's sedan collided with the U.S. Secret Service vehicle that was used to block off intersections. So it was a comedy of errors. It was like screech, bam, bam, bam. Mostly because the beast or the president's limousine is a truck. Okay, it's not a car. If you look at that thing, everything is scaled up so it looks like a car. It's not a car. It's a truck. So being that it's a truck and being that it weighs somewhat godly amount of weight, I've heard people give charitable estimations. You won't find out the actual stats on the beast. Trust me on that one. It's secret, but it weighs a lot. So considering the fact it's so up armored and everything weighs so much, it doesn't stop on a dime, folks. It's like panic stopping a tank. It's just gonna go poop. That was exactly what it did. So anyway, the sedan proceeded to attempt to enter a restricted intersection, to which the point that Secret Service agents encircled at guns drawn and told the driver to raise his hands. I'm sure. dude probably got an unceremoniously quick hey, oh wow, that's the kind of gun you carry. Yeah, I'm sure the Secret Service were quick to say, hey, let me show you this really spiffy sidearm I'm carrying here. You like it? It's cool. Yeah, it's really good. I like these. Yeah. Scrolly. Harvard applications are down 17%. Why? Oh, yeah, because of marked anti-Semitism. I'm sorry, rich Jews aren't going to associate with a bunch of buttholes that hate their guts. Let's see. BlackRock has just been hit with a lawsuit. This is exceedingly badass. So one of those big DEI or ESG boogers doing that kind of steering the bus by, dragging on the bumper kind of a thing that, the big investor guys try to do by changing public options on things by, putting the money where they think it should go. Well, they just got hit with a lawsuit. So Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti slapped BlackRock, the world's largest asset management firm, with a first-of-a-kind lawsuit on Monday, alleging the company misled customers about financial consequences caused by its embrace of woke ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance policies. So they're now being sued like crazy. I don't see a dollar amount here, but let's just say it's going to get really interesting, especially if the dude sets precedents for these guys to get stuck. The first one is the first one. So, if it happens again and again and again, it's going to get very, very interesting. I don't know if you guys thought about this one or not, but there's now photos showing that mega creep Bill Gates of Microsoft. So, essentially, he's been hanging out and he took some time in with Jeffrey Epstein and probably doing other stuff too. Bad yuck. This one I think is very, very interesting. So supposedly there's now a report, this one, AmericanJournal.com. There's now a report exposing Biden's secret, and Joe is like spazzing out, getting really, just nasty to his staff members and everything. And the reason why is they say people suffering from age-related mental decline are some of the most nasty people to be around, with anger outbursts as a norm. Yeah. This one I think is absolutely something that needed to have happen. This guy needed. This guy needed to get stuck. Talking about, hang on a second here. Let me find the guy's full name. It's only mentioning his last name in the script that I grabbed. Hang on a second here. So former FBI agent who's now getting ready to go into the clink. Yeah, this guy. Let's see. Scrolly. Hang on a second here. Charles McGonigal. So Charles McGonigal. So was sentenced to approximately 4 years in federal pen and fined $40,000 in a Manhattan court. He accepted payments from the Russian oligarch to collect open source research against a rival, the outlet reported. He's also charged with accepting $225,000 in payments from a former Albanian intelligence officer. He's facing sentencing on those charges in February. So McGonigal's connection to Trump is exposed involvement in the Crossfire Hurricane probe, also known as the Russiagate probe. This dealt with Trump campaign in 2016. The probe took 22 months and spent $32 million in taxpayer money to investigate. The probe eventually determined there was no evidence against Trump colluding with the Russians to influence the 2016 election in his favor. McGonigal was also involved in a classified defensive briefing that was given to the attorneys of a failed presidential candidate, Hillary Rodham Clinton, in 2015, according to Daily Caller. Senator Lindsey Graham said in 2020 that there's a clear double standard in the Department of Justice. Yeah, so he's in the clink for one. He's going to go and do something else that's going to blow up on him. It's going to be fun to watch because, well, they're letting the little guy take the fire for the big guys. So you got to start small. Maybe they can make this guy turn over, start going, well, this is what I did for so-and-so. I was supposed to blah, 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 the information for these guys. They asked me to XYZ and PDQ for all these other things. Might get interesting. It just might get interesting. Scrolly. Liberal school land scandal turns viral in seconds. So a guy basically went to work at this is kind of just disgusting. I mean, if you simply just work there, you work there, okay? You don't need to make it something of what it is, but what it is what it was. So Carl Frisch, who will become the chairman for the Fairfax County School Board, swapped the Bible for books including Lawn Boy, Genderqueer, and Flamer. His male partner held the books while he placed his left hand on them and his right hand in the air, and he got sworn in on LGB. Hang on a second here. He got sworn in on, I got this one sound guy. He got sworn in on the S1ZPDQOU812. What are you doing, dude? All right, so he got sworn on the XYZ PDQ books. Now, whether you get sworn on the Bible, whether you get sworn on any other book, really, truly doesn't matter. You're affirming that you're going to do the position correctly. I think this guy just literally made it a mockery by doing that. If he chose to just get sworn in without a book, that would have been perfectly fine because you're swearing and affirming. You don't need to put your hand on a Bible, okay? That doesn't say anything more except for the fact you're trying to say, okay, I'm so much of a Christian that I believe wholeheartedly this is going to give me some extra ink, but you don't need to do that, okay? So yeah, this guy basically did that, and I think it was just kind of like a swipe in the face to Christians, which some people tend to do, and they tend to think it means something, but whatever. This one I think is absolutely kind of one of those cool history lessons. I think I might just actually close out on this one. So let's just do that. Scroll. Oh, okay, that's right here. Today's history lesson. President George Washington was a man of freedom for all, even Jews. George Washington and the Jews. There was a major milestone. There was a milestone relationship between George Washington and Jews. President George Washington was the first head of a modern nation to openly acknowledge that Jews were a full-fledged citizen of the land in which they had chosen to settle. His personal philosophy of religious tolerance could be summed up in his address made in 1790 to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island, where he said, quote, "May the children of the stock of Abraham who dwell in this land continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of all the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit in safety under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid." So that's kind of cool. It continues further. Was Washington's respect for the wisdom of the ancient prophets and participation in the patriotic Jews for the struggle of independence that motivated Washington to declare his most significant and profound statement on religious freedom at a Jewish audience. And then what it was is I actually was referencing, there's a book called George Washington and the Jews from the University of Delaware Press. It's like $86. I'm sure you probably can find a different copy of it, but it is on my Facebook page. Within fairly recent, I put it up there, and good stuff like that there. But that's kind of our history lesson for today, where Washington was so beholden to freedom that he even said, I'm going to even make mention of a smaller group of people here as profound. That's just cool. That to me is just very, very cool. All right, so looking at stuff here coming out in 10 o'clock, 10. So I've been doing a little bit longer than I thought I was going to be able to. The voice has fully recovered. Yay. All right, so I'm going to break up on this one, folks. Appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me on a Tuesday. You know, got many other things to do, and I truly appreciate the fact that you came back and saw me after me missing like multiple times here. But oh well. So I'm back. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Anyway, so I appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me today. Get a gold star for attendance, good stuff like that there. And I hope to see you guys next week. If not, have a good Christmas, good New Year's, a good rest of that stuff. Past, but a belated happy Hanukkah for those of you the Jewish persuasion. Good stuff like that there. And I will catch you guys next time, and I will see you then. So eat good, keep tendering as always, you know you love it. I will see you guys next occasion of this right here. This, yeah. See you guys later. Catch you.